Hello! I'm currently in the city of bikes, canals, and prostitution. Sorry I don't have a photo of that last one, I haven't done it quite yet. Or have I? Yes, I am in Amsterdam and I'm standing out here in the cold because it's the only quiet place I could find. So those three things make the Netherlands actually pretty interesting. A lot of the major cities like Amsterdam and Rotterdam are actually below sea level, but thanks to awesome Dutch engineering, they've managed to actually create land from where there wasn't before. In fact, water management is one of those unique skills that Holland has. Yes, Holland, Dutch, the Netherlands, I know there are so many terms, but you know, they're all referring to the same thing. Amsterdam's canals in particular were made in the 17th century as the city started to grow to help with water management, transport, and defense. So the way they do this is using these things called polders. Now these polders are essentially separating the water from whatever land they're trying to create. And this makes its own little hydrological system where the two water systems aren't connected at all. And that other thing that makes the Netherlands so unique, bikes. Bikes are everywhere, and in a really good way. There are bike paths connecting even cities, and within a city you can get pretty much anywhere by just riding on bike paths. And when you walk around, you will see bikes everywhere. I mean, everywhere, and there are so many. I read that Amsterdam contains more bikes than people, but maybe that's a false statistic because it gets a lot of tourists here as well. So yes, if Paris was a city of walking, then the Netherlands is the country of biking. And it's not just for the young hipsters who are trying to stay fit, everyone bikes here. And it's just the way of life. It's how people get to work, it's how people do their shopping, it's how people go and meet their friends. And you'll see all sorts of people, from parents with their kids in a little cargo bike to old men who are just riding home from work. It's so nice to see a country that's actually very active. And the bike paths are so well organized. In fact, everything in the Netherlands is really well organized. The Netherlands as a whole has probably the best infrastructure of any country I've been to. There are metros and trams in the cities I've been to so far that get you around town, and then there are trains that get you in between the cities. And the highways, I mean, the highways are just nice to drive down, and the drivers have really good etiquette. People really do keep right, and they only go in the overtaking lanes when they're actually overtaking. But Holland's infrastructure is so good, probably because the country's physical size isn't that big. Its total land area is 41,500 square kilometers compared to Australia's almost 7.7 million square kilometers. So yes, I'm not very hopeful for Holland-like infrastructure in Australia anytime soon. But I was also in Rotterdam earlier this week, which is actually quite different from other Dutch cities. Whilst it does have the canals of other Dutch cities, it's got far fewer historic buildings. And this is because it was bombed to bits in World War II, which also means new buildings and new architecture. Rotterdam is kind of known for this, and yes, there are definitely some nice buildings. And the Erasmus Bridge is stunning. Also, it was such a nice change coming from Bruges. I didn't see very many tourists in Rotterdam at all, whereas Bruges felt like a city that was built just for tourists. But what sort of traveler are you? Are you the sort of person who wants to go to all the museums? Or do you just like to wander? Or maybe hit the nightlife? Or maybe you plan your whole day around where you're going to go eat? I'm curious, let me know. So my media consumption of the week takes the form of a TV show by HBO called Looking. It's about three gay guys set in San Francisco, and having now been to San Francisco, I can say I appreciate the references so much more. I mean, I know what the Mission District is, and I've been to Buy Right ice cream. It feels like quite a real and unsanitized look into San Francisco's gay culture. Anyway, I do recommend it, particularly if you don't know the complexities of gay relationships. I am gonna head indoors now, so make sure you eat your vegetables, and I'll see you next week.